Well, the Brewery Underground podcast, we sometimes got to run. We tried to live up to our name because we go to breweries and we love talking to the folks that work at breweries that, I don't know, they brew beer and they hang out and they work there. And today is no exception. We have a great brewery on from Cincinnati, Esoteric Brewing, my friend. And you guys, us guys, all of us, we were all there at Esoteric in Cincinnati in mid-May.
Yeah. Thanks for having us on, guys. We really
thank
appreciate
you.
it. Yeah, we enjoyed good 2 hours worth of drinking and conversation.
we were so worried. We were so worried when you were holding up something that you guys, something important.
Hey, you know what? When we have people in and the conversation's good, the beers just keep flowing, and that's why we do what we do.
It is. Well, it's a pleasure because we have John Reece, who's the assistant brand manager for Esoteric, and Anique Thomas, who is the head brewer. And we're very, very glad that you guys are here with us.
Yeah. And I love guests that we've already met once. It's a little easier sometimes because you've met, and it's just like, hey, we kind of already know each other. We drink beer together. So I was like that.
We broke bread.
Yes.
Yes, we did. And again, we slowed down your productivity that day, but hey, we're here now.
Yeah.
Scott, my day was already done.
Yeah.
I will say you didn't seem to be in a hurry.
No, not at all. I mean,
and we got your titles right and your names right on the podcast too. Is that right?
Yeah.
All right. Well, it's always helpful. Make sure that we're starting off correct.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
Awesome.
John, I see in your video there, you've got your nickname. Is that Juice?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess I never told you guys. My nickname is Juice. I've been in the beer and food and wine industry for a long time, and it's a nickname I acquired right out of high school, and it just kind of stuck with me, and I figured it was very appropriate for this industry, so I just kept it around. So yeah, everybody just calls me Juice.
That's great. That's great. We'll call you Juice from now on.
There
If
are
that's
a
all
lot
right.
of Johns.
Well, you mentioned just recently. You just mentioned a couple of minutes ago when we came to visit. You gave us plenty of juice, the beer juice, when we were hanging out. Man, there was a couple hours of just a lot of fun. I'll tell you what. When you brought out, I think it was at wasn't that Belgian quad towards the end there, and I was like, all right, time for some food.
Yeah, I kind of led with the light and ended with the every 10% Nirvana.
Yeah.
Which hindsight's 2020, of course, but we all went and got some food afterwards, so that's what matters.
Absolutely.
Oh, definitely.
It was a great beer. Steve told me later. He goes, "Yep, that's when it was about to turn for me after that 10%." He goes, "I could feel things starting to change a little bit. Let's go eat."
Well, I mean, yeah, you guys had IPAs before that, and I was there just drinking light lagers, and I was like, "Oh yeah, what sounds great? Belgian quad."
Oh yeah. Well, that week we were on the brewery hunt anyway, and we had actually come from Little Miami Brewing before we, arrived at your place. And so we were doing it up large there, and then we got the Esoteric and did it even larger. So it was fantastic.
Yeah, how was the rest of your guys' trip?
It was great. Yeah, it was great. That was actually that day. That was the last end of our trip for Cincinnati. Then we ended up in Cleveland for a couple days and went to Great Lakes and Masthead and a couple other places, and then Columbus. So the whole trip, the whole week was just a lot of fun. And, being from Cincinnati, I just love coming up there and hitting all the breweries. I mean, I probably have been to, and Scott's the same way. I've probably been to about, maybe half at this point. I mean, when you look at how many there are, I've probably been to over like 45.
Yeah, guys. I mean, you're right on half. It's kind of crazy. Like more and more are popping up. I mean, some are unfortunately closing, but you have some that are starting to open up, which is a good sign.
Yeah, you got some opening up, and then you got some expanding too, right? You got a Braxton who's added just another location after Highwire went down, and things like that. And we've got a couple of scenarios like that around here, like somebody will go out, but then we've got others expanding and adding second and third locations, which is great. It's a balancing out.
Yeah. Yeah, especially, I mean, it seems like there are a lot of the bigger players up here that are starting to open up second locations. I mean, like you mentioned, Scott, you have Braxton taking over the Highwire spot, and then Mad Tree just opened up a massive complex up there in Blue Ash. So, I mean, good on them. Like, if they have the capacity to do that, I love that. And, it only brings more competition, tied right, or but rise with all the tides or whatever
Yeah.
that expression is.
Yes. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I always
Well,
get that one wrong too.
but you know what? That's a good point. But don't you think in a lot of ways that does help your business and help you guys? Because, we're brewery guys. When we come up, it's not just, stopping at one brewery. We want to hit them all. And then, once we hit a lot of different ones, we want to keep coming back. And, that's our experience. I can say with Esoteric, and I can speak for myself that I go back about, 4 years ago when I started getting your beer in can, stopping at like Party Source, on my way back to Nashville. And I was like, man, what a great bunch of beer. Thank you, Anique.
Yes.
It's all the
I'm
credit.
brewing it up there.
I just make things look pretty.
Part of our trip, and we had a Mexican lager at your place, and it was the Pareso. Did I say that correctly? And that whole trip, whether it was Cincinnati or all the way up through Cleveland, it seemed like we were on a Mexican lager tour. Everywhere we went had one, and they were all wonderful. And I'm sure it's, the time of year kind of dictates because it's hot and, it's a light beer. But man, everyone, and yours especially, was so good. Everybody's killing it on the Mexican lagers. And we weren't even trying. Everywhere we'd go, there'd just be one.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, originally we brewed that for Dewey's Pizza to kind of fill in that like slot going into really the Cinco de Mayo sort of seasonality. And we wanted to brew something that was a little bit lighter, of course, but has that nice little like sweet maize. I mean, you can speak more to the brewing process than I can, but we're really trying to like go for something kind of like a Pacifico or a Tecate that's like you can grab and just throw down 4 or 5 of them and still really enjoy them and still really have like that same palate where you can go eat something and not feel like you had like 5 IPAs or a Belgian quad.
It makes it like it's familiar to people too that if they're not necessarily huge into craft beer, but they want to try something new, you can give them a Pareso or something similar and be like, oh, this is like a Pacifico. And people are like, oh, okay, I know that's safe.
Yeah. It's to your point. It's like such a great like gateway beer.
Yeah.
To kind of like bring people who don't necessarily drink craft beer into the fold because it's something that just reminds them of something that they've had before.
Yeah. And we've all seen groups of people come in. You guys probably especially see groups of people come in, friends, right? And there's always maybe one person that, hey, we're going to go somewhere else after this because this person doesn't drink beer. But if you have something for them, they're going to stick around long.
Yeah. I mean, that's the main goal. You kind of, as a brewery, right, especially like kind of seeing the evolution of breweries, like you want to be able to provide people, each and every option that you can to keep people happy for a little bit longer. So like providing them with those lighter beers that are more, in tune to what they're used to is a very big thing for us.
Yeah, I went back to see what was the very first beer I ever checked in. We use the Untapped app, and I went back and I'm looking at it now, and this was back it was actually on New Year's Eve. It was in 2022. The first esoteric beer I had was the Illuminati, your Helles Lager, which, which I like quite a bit. And, you guys, I guess, have like a good group of core beers basically that started from the beginning when, if I'm not mistaken, you guys opened around 2020. Is that right?
Yeah. September of 2020. Obviously the greatest time ever in human history.
Yes.
We all remember what we were doing in 2020, which was basically nothing outside of drinking and hanging out. So yeah, we opened up in 2020 and, especially in a city like Cincinnati where brewing is so prevalent, like we knew we had to come out with some pretty strong core beers, right? Because we're in a city with Truth, with Psychopathy, with Doom Pedal, with You Betcha, with Legendary Lager, now Cincy Light. Like we knew to sustain success, that's one thing that we really needed to hit hard. So our core beers are definitely like essential to who we are because we know that's what people are going to grab for, especially in a city like Cincinnati where people are very like habitual, right? They know what they like and they grab what they like. So we try to fit that into our core group.
Anique, as the brewer, what kind of a learning process has that been for you? Did you start there as the head brewer in the beginning, or is that something that you acquired as you went along?
No, when I started at Esoteric, I was actually just one of their bartenders.
Okay.
Gotten into the industry via March 1st and started bartending there during COVID. survived that. And then I knew someone who used to work with Brian when he was at Mad Tree, and they were like, you should go apply to be a bartender at Esoteric. You really vibe with everyone. So I applied, I bartended, and I noticed that Brian had like, all the brewing equipment, all the brew space, the lab. And I was like, hey, I have a science background. Let me help you. I can just teach me.
Yeah.
And they came out with a position. And I remember they're like, they opened it to everyone on our team, it's fair. And I told everyone, I went to each and every one of you, said, I'm taking this. So I applied to basically just be a cellar person, to learn from basically the bottom, to learn how to clean kegs. And he eventually just worked in more like, here, let's clean kegs. Let's learn how to keg beer. Let's learn how to clean a tank. And so then I've worked my way up to being cellar person to being head brewer. And I've been a head brewer for a year now, technically.
Year and a half.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So I've been brewing
Yeah.
a couple of years, and then officially like took on the head brewer title and took on all the other responsibilities that came with it.
Well, to build on that, it was funny, like when Anique came and she started in the cellar, every day at lunch she would come up and she would always have like a brewing book in front of her. And I'm just like, this is commitment. Like
Yeah.
like typing away on a computer, like trying to like finger paint, as some people like to say. And she's head in the book, right? And I think it's turned out pretty well for us. So I'm not gonna.
And you mentioned Brian, that's Brian Jackson, who is your owner. And he's got roots going back to, Mad Tree, right? He was at Mad Tree a number of years ago before he came to and, started Esoteric.
Yeah. Brian was one of the brewers at Mad Tree 1.0. So he's been doing this for quite a few years. He started, unfortunately, he's not going to be here with us tonight just because he's a really busy.
So busy, yeah.
Sure, yeah.
But yeah, he started at 1.0, but he actually really started as a home brewer and kind of figured out the science behind that. His background is actually in psychology, which is he went to UC for psychology, and then he ended up falling in love with beer. He started home brewing, and kind of the moment that he realized, like, this is something that he would love to do, is he won what's the homebrew competition? Beer and Sweat, put on by one of the local homebrew organizations here in the city. And, once he won that, it was kind of like straight to the moon. So he was like, I'm going to start a brewery and, going to start at Mad Tree and then figure out my business plan from there. And he eventually got funding, and here we are.
Yeah, and it was such a pleasure meeting him too for a few minutes when we came up there and we got the chance to talk to him for a little bit. We knew that day he was pretty busy. You guys had a lot of events going on, but I think the important thing too that we wanted to really talk about is the fact that when he started Esoteric, that you guys are the first and I believe the only minority-owned brewery in Cincinnati. Is that right?
Yeah, so there was actually one other one. I can't.
They were Cincinnati Brewing
Company that started. It was based out of Lockland, and they were also minority owned. Yeah. But within the city limits, we are the only Black-owned brewery, and we still are the only like Black-owned brewery in the city. It's definitely like a badge of honor that we wear for sure, because in an industry where a lot of people look like me, it's good to have like diversity. It's good to have different types of thought, because it only pushes the craft even further than what it is now. And, when you start involving different people from different backgrounds, just the creativeness just kind of blooms and it becomes so much more beautiful. So it is a badge of honor that we wear, and we love it, but we don't want to be known just as that. We want to be known as a brewery that makes damn good beer, which definitely does.
Hey, Anique, as a head brewer, what are some of the duties you have during the day? Because I'm sure everything is glamorous, right? I bet it's all unicorns and fairy dust, right? It's what everybody dreams to be, right?
Right. It's always those jokes that you see that like, they're like, oh, you have the fun job. I'm like, yeah, my job's fun. I mean, it's a lot of hard work, but I don't know, the kind of typical day, it just really depends. Like I'm so with my head brewer titles, I'm given the job of the whole production schedule. And so basically last December, I had to prep this year's whole schedule as much as I could with what we were coming out seasonally, our core beers, and then anything else that, just try to have something come out almost every other week. At least like 2 releases a month?
Yeah, we do 2 or 3 releases a month.
And so doing that, and so with that schedule, what's nice is that it basically kind of tells you like this needs to be dropped to this temperature, this needs to be biofine, this needs to be kegged. And so I basically just go off of that. And then really it's just me down there most of the time. Brian's doing his stuff off site, doing deliveries. You're sometimes here or you're at home taking care of your stuff. Like I've got my own workspace, which I really like. But it's just kind of like what needs to be done
on any given day.
Yeah, typically I'm brewing Tuesday, Thursday, or Friday. And then in between is packaging and cellaring days.
Yeah. I mean, the one thing I've noticed for you is you're always doing something.
I try to be doing some sort of cleaning, always something like today, like for example, like this week with the holidays, our brewing schedule got kind of wonky. So we couldn't get our grain in. And so I brewed yesterday and today and tomorrow to get prepped for the holidays. I've been bringing up kegs up the ramp. I've been tidying up. That's all I did all day. But it needs to be done, and it's a good time to do it. I'm a glorified janitor.
We've heard that. We've actually heard that from other brewers. How much of the day takes up just cleaning and things like that. And, it's kind of the same stories that you're talking about. It's always interesting to hear from others, though.
Yeah. I don't mind it. I pop in podcasts and clean away.
Yeah. It's kind of funny.
Have you caught? I'm sorry. I was going to say, have you caught all 77 of our episoes?
She was not listening to you guys today. So.
I was, yes.
Okay. Okay, good.
But yeah, it was kind of funny. Like one of the first weeks that we were open, actually Brian invited me down to brew.
Oh, that's neat.
And I came in at like 5:30 a.m., helped him grain in, watched things boil. I was like, all right, we're going to do this and we're going to wait. I'm like,
yeah, you do this.
Okay,
wait.
cool.
Do this, then you wait.
Cool. And then all of a sudden it's like, all right, we got a grain out. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. And he's like, all right, you need to clean this. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. And by the end of it, I'm dripping sweat. It was
sweaty.
It was like, I think we were getting ready in August to open up.
Yeah.
And I just remember dripping sweat. And I'm like, I appreciate you. And I appreciate you inviting me into your space, but I don't think this is for me, dog. AC, like this is a lot. So like, yeah, I commend you for sticking in there and just doing what you do every day.
I have my own personal fan. I'm just like holding it.
Yeah, it's like I'm taking inventory or something in the cooler.
Yeah.
Let me just
in there.
spend some time in here. Yeah.
Anique, could you have imagined yourself like 10, 15 years ago doing what you're doing now? Was it always a goal?
No, I never thought I would have ended up in the industry. Back when I started drinking beer, I was just a groupie. I'd just go to craft breweries and like hang out and try different styles of beer. Get the,
You don't love IPAs, though.
No, I don't love IPAs. No, still don't. And I don't know. I just kind of honestly fell into it, and I needed something mentally stimulating. And that's why I think when I did bartending was really good for me. Yeah. That point, like I needed that interaction. I needed to gain my confidence because I was like I was in my mid-20s, yes. And that was just a really good time for me. But then once I got done with bartending, I'm like, okay, I'm done with people.
Yeah.
I'm done. I missed that lab side. I missed that science, that here's an SOP. It's very kind of by the book. I missed that kind of structure. So to have, I don't know, I guess I never really thought I would have, me back then being a groupie, I'm like, oh man, now she's in the industry as an Asian woman. Now she's head brewer. And I look at all the groupies I used to hang out with. I'm like, hey.
Look at me now.
That's awesome, though.
When the recipes or the new beers that you guys come up with, how does that happen? Is there a committee? Anique, do you just say, hey, we're going to make this today? I've come up with this recipe.
Yes and no. A lot of it really, when I was making the production schedule, is like, what's the marketing team want? What does the sales team want? So it's a bunch of us sitting down and figuring out what's coming out, when we want it to come out. And then once they tell me that they want some sort of new IPA at this time or a new
Christmas beer.
Yeah, Christmas beer. Then that's where I get to be creative. Is that, okay, you want a Christmas beer. Okay, what can I make? What do I want to make? Mm-hmm. And then that's where I can experiment.
Yeah. I think we loosely set up that schedule and then we purposefully left spaces there to like lets you spread your
to
wings.
fill in. Yeah, there's like, because even still, like, especially in the industry right now, like, I want to make all the fun stuff, but the fun stuff is not going to sell. We have to wait.
Right.
Yeah. So I mean, that's really the biggest balance right now. It's coming out with new innovative things while also recognizing what's actually happening in the market and making sure that we're fulfilling customer needs.
Yeah.
And I think that's a really good point. You know, you guys, like I said earlier, you guys have been open for 5 years, and are you just amazed at all the changes that have happened in the craft beer market in just 5 years?
It's, you know, honestly, I was talking to our sales guy this morning, and I was like, man, these last 5 years have felt like 100 years.
Yeah.
I mean, just seeing the amount of changes. I mean, like even 5-6 years ago, barrel age huge, right? Like everybody, like that was the pinnacle. That was the creme de la creme. How was your barrel aging program? Fast forward to now, it's like, well, you know, barrel aging's fine. Like it's still a big part of like what the industry is, but now it's like, well, what does your Pilsner taste like? What does your lager taste like? You know, what can you send out to the masses that everybody enjoys? Because I think everybody's palates have just gotten tired, and which is fine. But I think we're seeing this like push back to basics, right? And I think people are really enjoying the simple, very modest styles because it kind of reminds them of simple times.
It's also a way to tell a good brewery if you can make a good pills or a good lager.
Yeah.
I always say, like, you can hide stuff in barrel aging or your like really heavy stouts.
Yeah.
You can hide stuff in there. That's not,
Yeah. But lagering, you'll find it. If there's something in there, you'll find it because you cannot cover that up. So if someone can go, if you can, I was kind of not always, but can gauge a brewery by if you got a good pills or good lager, I'm going to assume the rest should be pretty good. You know?
Yeah. I mean, when you guys were here, I think we touched on it a little bit. I used to work in a pizza place, and whenever we shout out Dewey's, by the way, whenever we whenever I go to a pizza shop, I generally just choose a pepperoni pizza because that tells me the quality of ingredients that you have, and it tells me whether or not, like, if you can do the basics, you can probably do the more experimental things pretty well.
Yeah, you should be able to, because you're adding more ingredients in both of those cases, whether it's beer or pizza.
Because you can, as you were saying, like as you would start to get a little bit more complexity, you can hide, things. Like you can, if there's an off flavor, you can adjust.
Yeah.
I mean, with a lager or pilsner, you put it down, it is what it is.
That's right. Especially with like something that's hoppy, right? An IPA, so just dump some more hops in it.
Exactly.
Yeah, you can hide it with an IPA too.
Yeah. Do you do some seasonal beers, and is that some of the fun stuff you're talking about? Like you could do, or do you is that part of your plan, anyways? Working in some seasonal stuff in your schedule.
I think that's like our fun time, but it's also like we know seasonal wise, like we're for sure, hopefully, always going to be in Dewey's. Like they're a staple customer of us, and so we know that 4 times. 2-3 times
twice a year
we do a switch over, so that we'll have like for them for their summer I designed a blue moon to say like
a citrus
yes, and I was like, I think that's blue moonish, so again people are familiar, so they're not afraid, and so that was fun because we hadn't done anything like that. And then Brian had a recipe for it, but we got to tweak it, so that's always fun to see his creative side where he had something that he wanted to do and then I can help him tweak it.
But even to that, like the last few years, Steve or Scott, I don't know if you guys have been to Higher Gravity up here. It's one of the local bottle shops.
Have not.
Fantastic place. You should check them out next time you come up. But they do a beer advent box every year, and they pick 5 breweries from that are local to do specialized beers. So we've actually done a special beer for their beer advent box the last 2 years. 3 years?
2 or 3
2 years. And last year we actually did a holiday spiced brown ale.
My Pfeffernuss.
Called Pfeffernuss, which is based off of the German cookie your grandma would give you when you were younger.
Yeah.
A lot of fun. I was throwing a bunch of just whole spices, brown spices, into brown ale, like our brown ale, and I was like, try it. Try it.
That was quite the week.
It was quite hurrying up and we had to brew it in October. I actually missed the brew.
Yeah.
Because it was my anniversary. So I missed the brew. I got to brew it.
But yeah.
Is it scary adding spices like that? Because, and maybe that's the point of trying it as you go along, because you don't want to have too much, right? A little bit probably goes a long way in some cases on that spice part.
For sure.
Or is that
yeah.
not a concern?
So what I did is that I found a pfeffernusse recipe, like a cookie recipe, that had all the ingredients that I could actually buy that we could put in beer.
Yeah.
And then I literally did the monster math, which is just proportions, because that's the only math I want to fuss with. And basically it's like, okay, if I had a sample of this much beer, I just like reduced everything and kind of just whipped it up in a glass and prayed that it would. And so we took out, there's like anise and the really, really strong ones.
Cardamom.
Yeah. We adjusted some. I think one of them we just took out because you don't want to be too overpowering. But we've also gotten criticized in the past that our flavors haven't been strong enough. So I wanted to make sure that I'm like, well, you're going to tell me at least you can smell it and you can taste it.
Right.
We're going to be able to smell it. And so it was just a careful balance of like, okay, I want people to actually tell like this is a cookie, a crispy.
Yeah. So fun fact, everyone, we do listen and we do look at Untappd.
Yes. Yeah, we do. This doesn't have a flavor. Hey, here you go.
Well, two questions pop up, but we're going to come back to that Untappd thing because we like to bring that thing up.
Yeah.
But before I want to ask, when you're making those things, can you do small batch stuff too? And maybe it's not in that. Maybe that's not a good example. But can you do small batch stuff in the brewery where maybe it's just taproom specific, or again that playful side?
We can so we got 2 10-barrel tanks that we can do the smallest amount, or 5-barrel batches that we can experiment with. But even still, a 5-barrel batch is still 10 full kegs. So we still have to be kind of careful price-wise and time-wise, just that can we afford to be really, really weird and we still have 10 kegs. So I think at some point, hopefully soon in the future, that when we have that freedom, whether it's financially or whatnot, that we can okay, we can do something really funky. And if we have to pour, we just pour it down the drain.
Yeah. Or call it something else in the tap room. I've come across that at places before too. Hey, yesterday it was this, it's not selling. We'll just call it something else now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's the thing too. Like our brewery's name is Esoteric, right? And we want to be able to really lean into that. And I mean, like Anique said, we recently just got 2 5-barrel unitanks, and hopefully that will allow us to be a little bit more experimental and a little bit more on the cutting edge. I think for us, at least, what helps is we have some bigger events throughout the year where we can push those one-offs where it's okay, guys, it's our anniversary. We tried something crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Here it is.
Yeah.
It's definitely helped for sure.
Yeah.
We don't have to we can sit on 10 kegs versus 20 kegs.
Yeah.
It's definitely helped having the smaller tanks for sure.
It's a balance.
Hey, we'll get back to the show in a minute, but you know what, Scott? There is something we want to talk about today, and that is our proud sponsor, Nashville Brew Pass.
You and I have actually used this a couple of times.
We have, but what is Nashville Brew Pass?
You know what it is?
What
it's
is it?
Adventure journal guide, like a travel guide that comes in the form of a booklet. And I've got one right here. I think you have one too.
I've got mine right here.
You've got yours too. Isn't that beautiful?
Yes.
We've both got one. And it shows you where all the best craft beer spots are in Nashville. There's even a QR code in the booklet, kind of right here at the front, shows you a map of all the breweries that are listed in this brew pass.
That's very helpful.
So what you do, you take this with you when you go to a brewery, and you bring your pass in and you get it stamped. And make sure you bring it in. I forget a couple of times.
That's right. You got to take it with you.
You got to take it with you. Don't forget your booklet.
Exactly.
And what it does, it lets you track your brewery visits. It's got sections in here. You can put notes, ratings of the place, your favorite brews. And actually, each page, if you can see it right here, has a menu of what that place has at their location.
Nice.
Yeah. And aside from that, they've also got some perks at several places.
Well, they do have perks. You are correct, sir. For example, you can get half off your first pint at the Picnic Tap, and also Tenfold. We have been to Tenfold. We have gotten our stamp there, so that was pretty awesome.
Yep.
Also, buy one, get one free at Homegrown and one of our favorite breweries, Black Abbey. At Monday Night Brewing, you can buy one and get a token for a free pint. How about
Get
that?
out of here. Get out of here.
Yeah. And you know what? It's not just breweries. At Nashville Barrel Company, you get a 4th pour free on a 3-pour whiskey flight. Hey, if you're not into craft beer, or maybe you are, maybe you also want to get yourself a whiskey flight. All you have to do is show your Nashville Brew Pass and get it stamped, and they're adding more perks regularly there.
Well, what other places do they have in the book?
Man, there are many other places. Blackstone Brewing, Marble Fox, Honey Tree Meadery. There's Fayette La Force, where I got mine just recently. Tennessee Brew Works, and also a lot of other favorites. So in addition, Nashville Brew Pass also has Corsair and Nelson's Greenbrier, which are distilleries. And I've also heard they may have some other events coming up soon.
I was just at Corsair and Nelson Greenbrier too recently. But you're right. They do have some more events coming. We went to one. We've talked about it before on our podcast. We went to one at Tenfold. We got a free flight just by registering with Nashville Brew Pass. It was awesome.
We did.
They had another one on July 2nd at Bar Jackalope. We missed it because we were recording that night. I don't know who records a podcast when they're giving away free beer.
Who the heck does that?
I don't know, but it happened. But they've also got another one coming in August at Black Abbey Brewing Company. More details on that one to come.
If you have a brew pass, you're automatically invited to all their free beer events without even having to sign up. Just bring your passport.
That's pretty cool. It's like you're a VIP. You
are correct.
Okay. Well, you sold me. How do I get one?
Go to their website. It's NashvilleBrewPass.com. You can also go to their Instagram page. Look under the shop button. They're only $30 each with free shipping for a limited time, sir. Follow them on Instagram and on Facebook at Nashville Brew Pass for all of their latest news and events.
Hey, man, let's do something fun.
Let's do something fun. Well, what is that we're going to do?
Let's give away 2 Nashville Brew Passes for free.
Really? For free? Yep. Now, are we allowed to do something like that?
I don't know, man, but we're going to do it anyway.
Well, you know what they say. Let's do it then. Forgiveness and not permission.
You got it. Exactly. Let's give these away to 2 separate listeners. We're not going to post this on social media, so you have to listen to this podcast to win the Nashville Brew Passes.
Well, that is fantastic. Something to reward our listeners with.
Yep. So the first 2 people that send us a direct message through Instagram, not a comment, not Facebook, after hearing this podcast, with the phrase, "I love Nashville beer," will each get sent a free passport.
Fantastic. Well, thank you, Nashville Brew Pass. Remember to go online at NashvilleBrewPass.com.
Now back to the show.
Well, Scott mentioned the seasonal beers, and we know that there is a season that's coming up soon. It's called the Season of Oktoberfest.
Yeah.
Oh, is that?
We dropped a variety 12-pack, which included 4 German-style beers. So we had an Oktoberfest, we had a Pilsner, we had a Kolsch, and we had a Dunkel. And then Oktoberfest season coincides pretty nicely with our 5-year anniversary. So we'll be looking to do, 3 different types of German-style beers? 3 or 4 more styles. So we're going to be dabbling in some, Berliner Weiss, maybe, something Bockish, I don't know, maybe something, I don't know, Marzen, I don't know, maybe. But yeah, especially being in Cincinnati with such a huge German contingent, it is something that we really push for because, we're really proud of our heritages here in Cincinnati. So we couldn't not try.
Well, and I was going to say that, I've been to the Oktoberfest Cincinnati downtown. A few years ago I was there and I hadn't been for a while, but I definitely need to get back. So yeah, expand on that a little bit, because I would imagine that almost every brewery has to have something Oktoberfest related in a city like Cincinnati, just knowing what the demand is.
Yeah. And not just during Oktoberfest season, but being from Cincinnati, Bockfest is a huge season. Again, it's kind of like rooting yourself in the roots that you have or the heritage that are in the city. So German beers are definitely, pinnacle here. And you have a lot of places, a lot of breweries around the city that do damn good German style beers. Like West Side comes to mind. Third Eye does some great stuff. Brink does some great stuff. We want to be able to be on that level. We want to be mentioned with those guys when German beers come up in conversation in this community. It's sorry.
You're fine.
All good.
Sorry. I was running the music in our event space and I needed to show off.
Take your time. Take your time.
Sorry. But yeah, German styles in this city are just so vastly important because we know that's what people are looking for, especially really from, I'd say, mid-July through October.
Probably. I mean,
Yeah.
you'll have
Yeah.
Bach beers in February, March, and then those will go, and then you'll have your summer, and then basically, it's Oktoberfest.
Basically, it's Oktoberfest.
Yeah.
And that's the craziest part, right? You know, for the first few years, we would tell ourselves, we're not going to be those guys. We're not going to be those guys that drop Oktoberfest in the middle of July. And then, what was it, 2 years ago, we were sitting there and we're like, damn, we might have to be those guys.
Yeah.
Being early to the party is not bad.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's definitely, we started with our Fest beer. And now we're going to dabble with the Marzen this year. So we're excited.
We obviously live in a different time than when Marzens were created originally. And they used to, they'd have to do them in March and they'd store them in the cellars or whatever all summer. And that, when do you guys have to start start brewing things for the Oktoberfest season?
I've already brewed everything's already brewed in tanks.
Yeah. Okay. Yep.
Way ahead of the game.
Oktoberfest is done. It's in the tank, and the next batch of Oktoberfest and Dunkel is already planned for next week.
Yeah.
Really?
Already done.
You're not kidding when you said July.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
I don't know if we'll necessarily release it, but we have it.
Yeah.
It's all be ready, because in order to get the mixed 12-pack assembled on time when we want to drop it, we have to have everything done by a certain day. Brian's like, everything has to be done so he can take it to our packaging guy, get everything boxed up and look pretty.
And like, that's the biggest thing when you're dealing, the 12 packs are the first time we did that last year. When you deal with that, you have to make sure everything's done right around the same time because, you know, as you guys know, beer has a shelf life. And you want to make sure when you put those beers into the 12-pack, they have longevity, right? And create longevity through completing them all at the same time. Just makes it a little bit easier.
We've laughed about Oktoberfest season on past episodes, you know, like last year, because we're going, okay, when are we going to see the first Oktoberfest beer sitting out on the shelves? And it's like, you know, right there at the end of August. You know, you go in the stores and you might see maybe some Sierra Nevada or, of course, Sam Adams that are popping up. And you go, it seems like those bigger breweries are really putting in the more pressure and demands for all the other breweries.
I blame, by the way, they started this trend.
Yeah. And we, you know, you want to make sure that you're falling in that realm, right? You want to make sure the consumer can get their hands on them at the appropriate time. Because if you're a little too early, people kind of give you the side eye. And if you're a little too late, you know, you're kind of scrambling to even get a portion of what you should.
Yeah.
There's definitely a sweet golden area that I think changes every year.
It does. It feels like, I mean, yeah, consumers laugh. I was like, well, it's your guys' fault.
Yeah. Yes, it totally is. If nobody bought it in July and they waited till September, it wouldn't come out till September.
Right. It was funny. I saw one of our local beer guys, Zach Hawley, posted a picture last night of him drinking a pumpkin ale, and I'm like, dude,
who's a pumpkin ale out?
Yeah.
We know Zach.
We know Zach.
Yeah,
I saw that too. Yeah.
Crazy guys.
Urban already brewed their pumpkin beer.
What?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
So you guys can't dictate how long.
No pumpkin ales from us.
You're not doing pumpkin ales?
No pumpkin ales from us.
That's not one of the fun things you want to do.
No.
They're challenging, that's for sure.
Yeah.
The duration of Oktoberfest for your beer, though, that really just dictates on, like, you brew it X amount, right? And then when it's gone, it's gone kind of thing. Yeah, you're not making any more, and we've got so much, we got a finite amount, and that's it.
Yeah. That's, as a small business, as a small brewery, like, we don't necessarily have the luxury of, you know, brewing a batch late and it not selling and us have to dump it.
Yeah, because that's been about a couple. If we brewed it a little too late seasonally, and it's amazing, like that beer will sell, and then right when the season changes, it stops selling.
It's almost 100% cut off. It is the weirdest thing you will ever see.
Yeah, it's very fascinating to watch. So yeah, once the Oktoberfest, once those are gone, they're gone.
I really wanted to touch it. Go ahead.
Oh, so Rick, just the last, just to touch on the pumpkin thing real quick. There's a place I go to still has Schlafly's pumpkin on the shelf from last year. And I love Schlafly's, but I think it's to your point. Maybe they made too much or somebody bought too much. The season ended and it sits there now and nobody wants it. But when the season comes around, you can't get enough of it.
Yeah. And then, once you start seeing like those Great Lakes Christmas ales,
Christmas
you're like,
ales.
yeah,
Yeah.
That's like...
Yeah, we know what a big deal that is for them up there too.
Yeah.
Hey, want to talk about some beer that's a big deal for you guys? Well, all of it is, of course, but I know you guys have won, beer in the, like the U.S. Beer Open Championship. I talked about Illuminati earlier, and you guys won an award for that, silver medal back in 2024. But you've also won over the years for like your Oracle. I mean, can you talk about some of those victories and what that's really meant for your brewery?
What does it mean to you personally?
I'm going to be honest with those awards. I wasn't here at the time when we won those.
Oh, okay.
I had a brief stint. I joke, it was my sabbatical that I left Esoteric for a period of time. Yeah. And I think I'm very happy we won those, obviously, the recognition. Me personally, I feel like I didn't win them because I wasn't here. The one that I will say that I'm proud of is the Bachfest one. Yeah. I won gold for our very first Bach beer that we've ever made. Yeah. And we placed first place.
Yeah, we placed first place in Bachfest this year. We didn't win best in show.
No.
That went to BC's Bottle Lodge, or BC's Brewing now, sorry, excuse me. Great friends.
Yeah.
But yeah, in terms of like winning awards, we love the recognition. We love the fact that people are picking up our cans and drinking our beer. But that's one of our big core values is humble craftsmanship.
Mm-hmm.
And the awards are great, but that's not why we do it. We do it because, we want people to sit down with a 6-pack of our beer and on any given night, the way we think about it is we want people to sit down and have a great family dinner and remember that they were drinking Illuminati that night. The accolades are just kind of a recognition of like, hey, like the craftsmanship is there and it's really good. But it's not something that I don't want to say we don't strive for it because we definitely do. We love the competition.
Yeah, but it's not like a grindhouse. Like it's not like we have to place. Like there's no pressure. Like there's obviously pressure because we want to win.
Yeah.
But there's no consequences, I guess. Like it's like if we win it, we know we do well.
Yeah.
This helps us prove to, I don't know, the non-believers.
Yeah. It's a validation.
It's a validation thing.
But it still says a lot about who you guys are, regardless.
Yeah.
And as you said, you want people to be sitting in their homes and, drinking your beer and remembering the beer. And I'll tell you the other thing that we probably remember. I love all of the names of the beer. And it's so different. I mean, who comes up with all of those?
It's kind of a team effort right now. Originally, we had a massive spreadsheet of names.
Yeah.
Some are flowers. Some are like, I know Brian really draws a lot of like how he lives his life through like Buddhism and Hinduism. And we kind of wanted the beers to represent something a little bit more like higher level. Our name is Esoteric and we wanted to kind of go up to that billing. But yeah, right now it's kind of like a group effort. We have a lead team that kind of sits there when something's coming out. We just kind of start throwing out names that kind of follow those sort of guidelines, and then we end up falling on one, and it's served us pretty well since inception. It's an exciting thing, but yeah, it's a whole team effort.
I'm just grumpy we can never have like dumb names.
Yeah, we just kind of painted ourselves into a corner. Sometimes I do wish we could
do like have a really obscure,
really dumb, stupid kind of like.
That's so I named them myself.
Yeah,
but I would call them, so we can't market it as that.
There's some brand guidelines that I will say I do try to keep the team kind of like a little bit more on track.
Yeah,
because there are names that have been thrown out where I'm like, I don't know if we can just say that,
guys.
Yeah, it touches on too many other things.
Well, that's already taken.
Yeah. That to your point, Anique, like that's the hardest thing. Like whenever we come up with a name, you have to do that research. You have to go on to Untapped. You have to go, on to the government websites and figure out what names you can't use. Mm-hmm. For example, we were Eclipse, right? It was Eclipse, or
Eclipse.
no, Harmony. So
Harmony, yeah.
Harmony was supposed to be a completely different name, and we were already building out the can label for it. And the week I was finishing up, I look online, or no, our sales manager texts us, and he's like, "So guys, Rheingeist, they have a new beer called Bloom." And I was
Oh,
like,
jeez.
"Damn it!" Like that's
I was really bummed about that one.
So yeah, when it comes to naming, it is a little bit more complex because you do have to make sure that no one else has used it.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, that's fair. Especially when you're a business, right? You don't want to be sued for anything or any of that kind of stuff, or have to
That or
change
yeah.
it later.
Actually, like to your point, like when you build a brand and you realize that someone already has the rights to that name, you have to go and change everything, and you have to retrain the consumer to see a whole new brand, even though it's something that you've had for an extended period of time.
Yeah, that's a hard sell because some people just don't see it or don't catch it or really don't realize it's the same thing, and they just go on to something else.
Yeah, 100%.
We talked earlier at the beginning of this podcast about the last 5 years in brewing and how things have changed. One of the things that have changed really recently, maybe you guys have seen it before this, is non-alcoholic stuff. And that's a big trend right now. Is that something you guys have thought about or have done in brewing any of that, or just to have some in the tap room for people?
Yeah, so we don't have any plans to do any NA stuff ourselves. There's some cost that comes with that, the buying of a centrifuge and making sure that like we actually know how to do it.
Yeah. It's just too
It's very costly. We do carry we did carry Athletic for a little bit, but now we're carrying, I think it's best day ever, or best brew ever, or best beer ever.
I'm not sure. I haven't looked at it. I saw we got it, but I haven't.
Yeah, it's a newer NA beer. This is no knock on Athletic, but this company does it a lot better. So no shade, sorry, Athletic. But yeah, it's one of those things that in the tap room we have to have, because more and more people are asking for those options, right? We want to be able to, when someone comes into our tap room, feel like first and foremost welcomed. That's one of our big things. But if you don't like beer or you don't drink beer, providing people with options that they would be okay with, and having an NA option is definitely a big thing now.
Yeah, there seems to be, I'll call it a trend, but man, there's a lot of people just not drinking alcohol at all, whether it's beer, cocktails. You hear a lot of mocktails, I guess, out there. There's something for the non-alcoholic. They just don't want to drink alcohol.
Yeah.
So you got to have something for them also.
I can't remember who it was. It was one of the government organizations put out a kind of like a breakdown in spend for generations in terms of like how much they're buying in liquor and alcohol. And like, of course, Gen Xers, millennials, right around $26 billion last year bought in alcohol. And then you get to the younger generation, like Gen Z, and it was right around 4 billion. And, for a long time, you would have those younger generations just kind of taking the reins of the older generation and drinking beer, wine, liquor, so on and so forth. But Gen Z is really kind of backed off of that. I don't want to say it's a tough thing to figure out, but it is. And that's just the nature of the beast. And we're all trying to figure it out right now.
It's also ironic because there are better things to drink in this world right now than there have ever been, whether it's beer, and I'm a bourbon guy, like all these, there's so many options with so many things you can find to drink, and people are drinking less alcohol than ever. I just find it ironic. And
it's like the cost too. It's expensive to go out, and especially the younger kids. I don't blame them. If you go get a cocktail downtown, the prices are exorbitant. It's So I don't blame them. Drinking's dumb sometimes anyway. That's my advice. I know a lot of Gen Zers like vaping or they'll go the weed route, which is fine. Have your vice, but I don't know. So just trying to, ideally, if somehow we could do 100-calorie seltzer. Yeah. As much as I don't want to make a seltzer, we could do that. We're trying to tweak. That's our fruit series that we're doing right now. We're trying to slowly tweak it so it's like a seltzer. So when someone wants like a high noon, we can hear that it's like 3%. Yeah. It's really fruity. So that's what we're trying to, that's what we're working towards. Cause I know a lot of people like that calorie conscious.
Yeah.
to be honest, guys, if people want to be more healthy, more power to them.
For sure.
We're only on this earth for a very finite amount of time. We choose to drink beer,
Yes.
because we really enjoy it. We do really love it. But if beer isn't your thing, if you want to do an NA, if you want to do a THC drink, go for it.
Yeah, the THC drinks too. Yeah, I think we're slowly trying to work on at least being able to have them on site, because I know a lot of breweries nowadays a lot of them are either making their own. I say a lot. There's probably like 3-4 breweries that have them. Yeah, that actually have their own, and then a lot of other breweries have the option that if you want this brand, you can have it. I'd like for us to have it, because that's even people like that option too.
Well, and you see so much even expanding on that, the brewery experience where, I mean, you guys are doing it. A lot of other breweries are starting to do it up there, even around here in Nashville, is serving more food options, like even brunch. I mean, how much has that taken off for you guys as a brewery?
It's been great. Having the addition of food really helps. Just, it gives people that another option, right? And, when you guys were here, right, we were having a bunch of beers, and by the end, it's like we need food. So it keeps you in there. It keeps you for one more beer. But it's so vastly important because we want the brewery to be a one-stop shop. We want the brewery to be like that place that people can come and grab brunch or eventually grab dinner. It makes selling the beer a little bit easier, but it also gives the consumer kind of like that second outlet.
Let's go back to your beers for a minute if we can.
Yeah.
How important is it to you guys to maintain like a balance of styles on your draft or on your taps? And is that something that's always conscious to you guys? Again, something for everyone?
I try really hard to push. Like, I always believe in having like one of every style, but like if I could, I would have like something dark, something like extra strong. Again, with the way things are, like financially and whatnot, it's just like it's not always viable to sit on.
Yeah.
There may be someone who wants a dark beer, but unfortunately, like if it's going to sit, that's like inventory, just like that's money just sitting there. Yeah. And so we try to make the board to have enough that it covers, like if you want something fruity, light, malty. I think we cover most of it. I wish we had a little bit more spread, just a little bit more with the dark beers, but with it being it's all seasonal. So come in a couple months, we'll have something dark again. But I like to try to have a style because in my mind, that if someone is curious, there is something. There's a style that you will like.
Yeah.
There's
definitely.
Yeah, that's what I believe.
What's great. Yeah. And what's great, and I assume do you guys do flights? I assume you do.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So Steve and I talk about this sometimes. When someone comes back to a table with a flight and it's got like a nice color variation, right? Steve's really good about this. I always love to see that. I'm terrible at it, but because I never think about it until they show up. But that's always a nice thing. Hey, you got a stout or whatever, and you got maybe a Dunkel, and you got an IPA and maybe a lager or something on there. But a nice color variation is always cool to see.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think one of the big things that we did, so we had a Belgian, like sort of Belgian beer day up here back in early March called Quintessence, where we basically brewed 7 different Belgian style beers.
Yeah.
Wow.
We had 8 on tap and we brewed 7.
Yeah. So double, triple, quad, the fruited ale, a Belgian pale ale,
the aged Festivus,
Belgian like Festivus ale,
and then
something else, one more thing. Sorry. But to your point, Scott, one of the things that I did from a marketing perspective is I built out what I called a quintessence flight. And $15, you get 5 of the quintessence beers, and it's curated for you. You don't have to think about it. Easy for the bartenders, as easy as it can, easy as flights can.
For flights,
To build out like those kind of like pre-made flights just allows people to come in and not have to think about it. So we did that quintessence flight, and it went so well that we were like, you know what? Let's just do a spring flight of our spring seasonals. Let's do a core flight of our core beers, and then do a price variation where it's like the core beers is like $12, the seasonal flight is $15, just to kind of give people that option. Who, when you walk into a tap room and you see 15 beers on tap, you're just like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Where do I?
People don't know what half of those things are.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we did these curated flights and they went off great. To kind of rein it back in and talk about when you look at the board as a whole, like I think we try to provide a really good seasonal option right now with like our citrus wheat ale or our Harmony, which is a mixed berry Belgian fruit ale, along with your cores, and then a dark. And we're leaning a little heavier on the light section, like the Mexican lager. We just released today our Japanese rice lager, which is the Walnut Hills lager,
Yeah.
and then a Hellas. But we want to make sure we're hitting the lights, the darks, and then
try our best that we can. We are allowed to.
I mean, we have 16 taps, so try to fit it.
It's like I say, you can't. You just try to figure it out the best you can, right? You can, in every aspect.
Yeah, and that's the thing about being a small brewery. Like, we don't have these massive budgets where we can go out and do market research. It's kind of like the lead team understanding the data that we do have, and then looking at each other and say, okay, this is what we know sells. This is what we know works.
Yeah.
How do we build the schedule appropriately to fit those needs?
Mm-hmm.
If Steve and I had a tap room or some kind of bar up there that sold beer on draft, we would be the ones that I'd be like, hey, Esoteric, if there's something you can't sell, send it here.
Send it was.
Either or we'll get rid of it. We could be your outlet for that. So you
We'll
could
definitely try it.
with
That's
more
for sure.
things. Yeah,
Just
for
let us
sure.
know.
We'll take it off your hands.
We'll swing by right when you guys start that.
There
Yeah,
you
just
go.
come on. You guys are first in line. Take whatever
Perfect.
tap number you want.
I'll be there. I'll bring the keg. I'll lift it up for you guys.
He'll surprise us with here's something that's been back there for a year.
Yes, here we go. More content for the podcast. We love it.
Aged
You know,
hazy-
go ahead.
I have an aged hazy IPA that's been in the back of the cooler for 3 years.
Yeah, put that on the board. Aged. It's an aged hazy. Yeah, it's it's
Way back
people
in the day.
People flock to those.
You mentioned the Untapped app earlier, and I actually had some pretty cool news at your brewery when I was up there. So I've been on, we like to do fun things on the podcast, and I've been on this, it's called the West Coast Summer IPA Tour. IPAs have always been a little mixed bag for me. Most of them I've liked. The West Coast, I haven't really done as many. And then this past year or so, I was like, all right, it's time to turn the corner a little bit. And you just got to dig in, and you got to have more, right?
He's on tour right now, by the way.
Yeah. And so what I did was, I was up there, and we had been to Brink Brewing the day before we came to your all's place. And I grew up in that area, so I've been to Brink many times too. And I had one of their West Coast IPAs that turned out to be the highest I've ever rated on Untapped,
Really?
which was a 4.25. The highest I've rated a West Coast IPA.
Okay.
I come to your place the next day, and I ended up getting the Bellevue Hill IPA and the Lotus, and I rated the Bellevue Hill IPA a 4.25 on Untapped. So that's my highest.
Back.
Yeah, so that's my highest rating so far of a West Coast IPA, and hopefully those rating that's the kind of rating that you want to see on Untapped from somebody. At least I hope so.
The higher the better.
Yeah, definitely.
Anique, you made a West Coast IPA that Steve loved.
Thank you, Anique.
That's on you.
Yeah, that's on me.
That's on you.
I wish I liked it as much as you do.
That's okay. That's okay. It's all subjective, right?
I make them. I don't drink them.
Yeah.
That's all right.
Yeah,
So that brings up a good question.
It's surprising that I don't drink our IPAs. I don't like our IPAs.
Because are generally like our highest rated beer.
I know, it's so funny. It's very because
So who are your guinea pigs then? Like if you're tasting it, you're like, well, I don't like it, but it's a good beer. Yeah, it's not a bad
if
gig.
Brian really likes it, then it's good.
Brian has. I can't give Brian enough credit. Like, his palate is out of this world.
Well, then too, it's one of those things that I want to learn is that slowly in my head brewing roles is that I want to still learn how to carve up a beer on my own properly, and he can do it without a machine. Like, he just does it by mouthfeel, and that is crazy to me.
Yeah.
And so he has me like he'll try it at this point when we're carving up, and he's like, "What do you think?"
Yeah.
And then he'll tell me like I'll have to describe to him what does it need more carb? Is it too carved? But he can just like tell, especially our core beers.
Yeah.
He just knows.
Yeah.
Like that's crazy.
Yeah, we have two scientists basically down in the brew house, which so I'm very much like a creative person, and creative people are very messy and very like, oh, let's try this, let's try that. Brian and Anique are just like, no, it needs to be this way. Why? Like, because we said so. And I'm like, cool. Let's do it that way. But yeah, I mean, you guys kill it down
But
there.
I think with the precision and like, I think because we have our IPAs just down, so like we know what we're doing and we take it's just, I don't know, it's just like the process of it's like it's a very clean process, it's very no nonsense, and it just comes out with very clean beer.
We have only made one mistake with one IPA. And it's turned into like one of our highest rated beers on Untappd.
That was his
What is that one?
Okay, that's all right. So we released it, I think, like the week after you guys were here. Which I'm kind of sad that you weren't
it was
here.
in the tanks. Yeah,
it was in the tank when you guys were here. So our original New England style, like hazy Odyssey, was getting brewed last year, and
I literally just brewed it.
Yeah,
literally put it in the tank, and then he messed it up.
Yeah, and then congruently we were brewing our double dry hop double IPA Karma, which is big imperial, 8.5%, 9%. Yeah, Anique had just brewed Odyssey, and somehow Brian switched the tanks in his mind, and he dumped all of the Karma hops into Odyssey.
I'm surprised.
Oh wow!
Yeah, and we're all sitting there, and we're like, "Well, do we dump it?"
Yeah, he's like, "This is a completely new beer now."
Yeah, and then we were sitting there, and we were just like, "It's hops in an IPA. It makes sense. Why would we dump this beer?" So we let it run.
Packaged it.
We packaged it, and we called it Iliad. Kind of like a playoff Odyssey, and it just came out as this big, like fruity, like citrus, stone fruit, hazy IPA.
It is so stinky.
It kind of blew us away. We were like,
that's great.
I smell it. It stinks so bad. So I don't understand it. But it's become our most popular thing that we did it on purpose this year.
Yeah.
That's funny. Yeah. Yeah, I was looking. I've had Odyssey. I had Odyssey about 2 years ago in can.
Yeah, and
it's pretty good. So
kind of goes back to like the Untappd thing, where it's like when we put Iliad out, it's as the marketing guy, you kind of look at that as kind of like a frame of reference to see what people like and what they don't like. And as the check-in started to roll in with Iliad, I was like, oh God, guys, this is going pretty well. So yeah, I mean, we look at Untappd all the time.
You do. I don't. I don't want my feelings hurt.
So fess up then. What's like? Obviously, you said the higher the better.
Yeah.
But is there a line of demarcation where if it's a certain rating, where is that line where you're starting to going, all right, we're getting this isn't something that I'm liking to see.
Average rating wise, like if it's kind of dependent upon the style, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you won't get a lot of like really high markings on like a standard Mexican lager, even though ours does pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
But I'd like to say like that 3.7 average, if it's below that, I kind of mark that as like, okay, A, we either need to change something, or B, just kill it, right? Like we've had some misses. I'm not gonna lie. Like we did a grapefruit radler.
Oh, the radler, yeah, that was that, yeah.
Beautiful can design.
Yeah, the can was really
good, but it just
that
came out and it was like way too much rind, and it was just so bitter.
So that was a no-go.
And on Untappd, people people recognize that. And we're like, all right,
yeah,
we won't do that again.
Yeah, so we didn't. We maybe we'll fix it at some point.
Yeah, but like 3.7 is kind of like the standard that I'd like to keep. I would like it to be higher and hold ourselves to that higher standard. But 3.7 on Untappd, if you're checking in, if it has 1,000+ check-ins and you're hitting 3.7, you're doing pretty well.
Well, you can tell Brian from me that I'm reading your West Coast IPAs in the 4s.
Perfect.
You better be, because they could see it.
That's right, they could see it.
Oh, Steve, I know when you check stuff in. I'm like,
go pull them up right now.
I'm watching.
Steve Nash Sully, I think it's his
Dion. Pull it up. It's out there.
Here's another aspect, and I've thought about this, but until you just said that, I kind of hadn't put 2 and 2 together. Untappd, if you're not like a supporter, right, where you pay for the thing $5.99 a month, you rate in 2/5, right? You rate every quarter point, right? 3.25, 3.5, 3.75. I'm actually a supporter, so I can rate in tenths, which is probably the minority of people. So that 3.5 to 3.7 is huge. 3.75 to 4 is even a bigger gap, if you know what I mean. Like for me to rate a 4, it's really upper echelon. So it'd be really easy someone to go down from a 3.75 to a 3.5, then go up to a 4. And why I say that is that overall average, right? A 3.8 is better than a 3.5. It's going to significantly bump your numbers.
Yeah. 100%. 100%. And it's a lot of the people, a lot of the consumers that do have that ability. The one thing I like about a lot of those people are they give detailed descriptions and notes of what they did and did not like. There are a lot of people out there who will check in a beer and give it a low rating and then just say, it's not a style I prefer.
Yeah.
So this is why, what I can imagine it being this true to style. And I'm like, well, you don't like the style, just don't rate the beer.
Yeah.
Because, at the end of the day, right? Like, this is Anique and Brian's work going out, and there are humans behind the numbers.
Yep.
And
That's fine.
Totally agree.
Yeah. You guys
Totally
take that
agree.
to heart, but you not just to heart, but take into consideration. All right. I mean, it might be how you brew the next one.
Exactly.
Or don't brew it at all. You're like, F these guys.
Well, at the end of the day, if you get those poor ratings, and if you see it like where it's like, oh, this isn't my style, but I'm rating this beer anyway, it's just like, how would you like it if I came to your work and just started rating your work?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I would take that. So I'm going to give you a 3.25.
Yes. Your spelling sucks.
Well, and I'll tell you, I've got to the point that if I have a beer and I don't like it, I usually don't go below 3.50.
Yeah.
I just say, you know what? I'm not even going to check it in. I may check it in. I'm not going to rate it because I may not like it if it's subjective. I'll tell you one. I got to ask you guys. I don't. Maybe you would brew a beer like this, and maybe you have. One of the worst I've had, and it was given to me through a beer trade. And I took 3 sips, and I'm like, I can't ever do this one again. It was a spicy pickle beer. Would a spicy pickle beer ever end up on the esoteric menu?
The pickle, Urban has the pickle beer down to a T. I wouldn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. Urban Artifact has
I
kind of
wouldn't
like
touch it.
cemented that in Cincinnati.
And they make a good pickle. I don't like pickle beer,
Yeah.
but their pickle beer is famous. I wouldn't even.
No, I've had that one. This one was from a different brewery, and it was a spicy pickle beer. And I took 3 sips, and I'm like, nope, never again. It ain't for me.
I'll let Urban do.
Yeah. We leave that to the experts.
Yeah.
We are not experts in this.
No, I don't know. That sounds weird.
I know, sorry.
Maybe it'd be fun to do a variant.
Yeah.
Like a dill pickle, like a dill variant of a beer. Like that's where it'd be more fun is that when the time allows, because it does take a lot of thinking with math and tasting, is that I can make a variant, just take a keg of one of our pre-made beers and make a flavor.
Yeah.
So recently I did for Element Eatery up here is that they wanted something for their grand opening, like flower theme, greenery. And so I made a sage and lemon periso.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
I think it was
that was-
periso.
Fantastic.
And it was just like I boiled a lot of sage. I didn't realize it would turn that color. And just getting that it doesn't taste like dirt.
Yeah. That's the toughest part.
Yeah.
Making sure it doesn't taste like dirt.
So maybe we could do a dill variant of something.
There you go.
I'm gonna write that down.
I'm-
I'll put that in the back of my head somewhere.
I'm going to leave that to you guys because
Now I'm curious.
I can't do that. I'm not a
I
big-
tell you, one of my favorite style, because there are many styles of dill pickle beers. The Kolsch's have always been my favorite because it's more of a lighter, like the one Steve's talking about, like straight pickle juice with some
Yeah.
pepper in it or something. And but the Kolsch's that are called themselves a pickle beer are tend to be lighter, and it's just a hint of it. And I'm not even sure they're pickles sometimes, but those are the ones I kind of prefer. But there's just less of that pickle, I guess. But
I think we make a pretty good Kolsch.
I like our
ours.
cold.
I
Yeah,
like our Kolsch.
Yeah.
tastes like a biscuit.
It does taste like a biscuit.
I don't drink it that often, but it's all right.
guys,
Yeah,
before we're going, we're an hour 13. Have you guys got a few more minutes?
Yeah, that's fine.
10 minutes? We call it 10 minutes?
Yeah, that's
Perfect.
fine. Yeah,
Perfect.
I'm a little sleepy.
Okay, we don't want to keep you from anything. John's like, we'll go all night.
Yeah,
No,
you're
we
here.
could wrap it up in about 10 minutes if that's cool. And
yeah, you're good.
okay, cool. We don't want to keep you from it, and we know it's later there. So
The sun's still
okay,
out.
cool.
Oh, I didn't realize there's a time.
You're an hour behind.
Yeah,
Yeah, 6:30 there, right?
yeah, we have the benefit of being 6:30.
Oh, honestly,
Gotcha.
yeah.
Yeah, we're right on the edge.
Hey, I've got a question. It's not one I wrote down earlier, but it's one I just thought of, and I've always wondered about this. You guys know how to check ABV, right? When you make your beer.
Mhm.
You probably know how to do IBUs too, but why is that not a huge stat when you're looking at beers in a lot of places. Like the IBUs don't show up in a lot of places. Do you always check those, or that's just whatever?
I think it's this thing. I feel like we had this big conversation at one point about it. I think it's a thing that it's not, because it's not a necessity. Like you have to know what the ABV is like legally and whatnot. And I think because we don't necessarily legally need to know what the IBUs are, it's just one less thing that we have to worry about. And it's just one less thing that, I don't know, we just haven't, it just hasn't really been a priority. And I feel like because a lot of the other breweries, like as a whole, hasn't done it, that everyone else is kind of like, eh.
Well,
Yeah.
I think from like a consumer perspective, I don't think people necessarily understand IBU.
That. And then it's like, then you'll have to, then it will become like a teaching thing, which could be a good thing. I always love teaching people about beer. That's not a problem. But I think it's made that people just aren't, there's the beer nerds who are curious, that want to know.
Yes.
For sure. But then there's
Right.
the majority of people who are just like, I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
So I think maybe just the lack of, I don't want to say care. I don't know.
It's a lack of like knowledge and like a lack of like wanting to know.
Yeah, I think they're just not. I think maybe they're just aren't as curious.
Yeah, people
Yeah.
aren't as curious about IBU. Like I think when people say, or when people see BV, they're like, how fast can this get me drunk? They see that and they're like, okay, like cool, I can have 3 of these or 2 of these or 1 of these. Where like if they see a number like IBU, like 55 or 85, they're like, what the hell does that mean?
Yeah.
And then the normal person just doesn't want to hear the scientific explanation.
Or it could be
Yeah.
one of those things too. That's another, like if you put the IBUs, it could be different depending on the beer too. So someone doesn't want bitter, but you could have a bitter IPA.
Yeah.
So I think it's like just that next level again, which is a good teaching opportunity for someone, but they might not have the patience.
Yeah.
Or the
Yeah,
time.
you see something in a high, yeah, somebody sees something in a high number, right? With a 65 or 75 or something, like, oh my God, no way, I can't possibly touch that one.
Exactly.
Yeah. What is it more work? I mean, it's got to be another process or another thing you have to do. But in brewing, what's that process like to test an IBU, to test IBUs?
I honestly don't know.
That's,
I really don't.
that's what Brian does.
He must.
Yeah.
I do not know. I have not been taught that.
Oh,
I'm sure I could figure it out, but
Yeah.
it's one of the things that we just, I don't know.
Yeah. And I know when we brew beer, we kind of look at the style and we understand like it'll fall in a certain range.
Yeah, the recipe, I'm pretty sure, has it. Again, see me not even paying attention. That like the recipe, once you put everything in, the salts and the malts and whatnot, the hops, like it'll spit out a number.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I do not personally know how to like calculate off the top of my head.
Our millennial minds need everything to be automated.
Kind of. Yeah. But that's honestly one of the things I should probably like add to my list of like I should know how to do.
Well, I'm just curious because I feel like we saw it, used to see it maybe 5 years ago or more. Like it was prevalent on everything, not necessarily cans or bottles, but like when you went to a tap room. And I haven't seen it. And what reminded me is I checked in a beer the other day and on tap, and I actually saw IBUs, which you never see on there, and it was 100, which I kind of think the IBU thing is the wild, wild west. Like I think you could throw, because I would think 100 would be the highest, but no, you've seen 120, and I'm like, okay, maybe it's not.
Yeah.
Really.
What's the scale? Like how do we understand this, guys? Like it doesn't make any sense.
I agree. But I like it, and I like it. If you slap one out there, it was 150. I'm getting that one first. So just let you know.
Maybe if we do
I don't care about the rest of it.
Yeah.
Then we finally figure out, do all the.
We'll do ESB and we'll make it extra. We'll do an EESB.
Yeah.
Extra special bill.
Yeah, and then we'll figure out
There you
the.
go.
And then I'll tell the gimmick behind it.
And we'll send it to you.
Yeah.
There you go.
I'll review it live.
I'll do it.
Hey, I got a couple quick words. Steve might have something too, but how do you guys want Esoteric to be perceived in the industry as a brewery?
You want me to take this? You want me to go for it? You got it.
I think we both can answer.
Yeah. I think from, as somebody who's been here the entire time, we want this to be a place that everybody can come to and feel welcomed. Our tagline is crafting community, and we really want to embrace that and really want people to, when they step into our tap room, feel like they're in a space where community is the main focus. With that being said, we've done so many different things with different organizations within Walnut Hills, which is where we're located, including working with Artworks, which is one of the bigger nonprofit art companies here in the city. They do these fantastic murals across the city. And we actually have one on our building and on the back. But we had artists that come in and we put their art on our cans and we sell them in the tap room. They choose a local nonprofit, and proceeds from those cans go to both the artist and the nonprofit. We've worked with, like I said, we worked with Dewey's. We've done give backs. We want to be in that place that people can come to, like the local watering hole, and say, like, I feel good here, and I feel like I'm a part of something that's bigger than who I am. So
I think for me, like obviously ditto all that. That's like super important. I really do love that we have that. And that's one thing that drew me to Esoteric originally. I want people to think of us as having good traditional styles or just clean, like being selfish because I make it. So I want
you get the brewing answer, you get the marketing answer.
I want people to have a safe space that they can come here and have good drinks. I want my product to just for people to enjoy it. Like I think that's one thing too, that when I got into this industry, that I needed that I made this. I made this with love.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Really. But
maybe I'll put that on every campaign.
But like I want people to be able to I love nothing else than just sitting around drinking a beer with friends. That's what I want. I want people to come here with their friends or meet new people and be able to have like, this is a great beer. How was your day? That's what I want.
And Nick, have you ever sat back, like you've come off of the shift, right? And you're like, you go to the bar and get a beer or something, or just sit and look at the people in the bar, or just sitting around drinking your stuff. But they're drinking your stuff, and you're like, they're enjoying it. That's got to be satisfactory, right?
It is very funny. Like I guess I don't really think of it a whole lot like that. Like obviously I'll go up after shifts and I'll sit there and like look around. But then it was just like yesterday, we had a guy come in, and the bartenders have been they're very sweet. They I love it and I hate it. They'll be like, there's a brewer. She's right there. We're like, oh. And like this guy came over. He's like, this is just really good. And like, it's just kind of crazy. I'm like, oh yeah, I did make that.
It goes back to that sense of community. Like we do this to make people feel happy. We do this to, at the end of the day, make sure people can go home with a product that tastes good and they can share with people.
I've got one more, and Steve, you can wrap up if you want to. Please let me do one more, and then I'll wrap up and shut my mouth.
You're fine.
We got more, so when you come back on next time, we'll get to the rest of them. But what's something each of you would change within the craft beer world, whether it's at the brewery or just in general? Or
wow, I don't know.
Change?
That's a tough question.
I don't know. I don't know if it necessarily be changed, but I think it just bring maybe more awareness to the, not to say the people behind the scenes, but just especially like being a woman, being minority, myself, that there are us out there, and that just, I guess, more recognition maybe on that part. And
sure,
change otherwise, I don't know. I think maybe more camaraderie. I mean, we all do care about each other.
Yeah.
Especially in this time.
Yeah. Especially in the city.
Especially because we're such a big city with so many breweries that, like, we all have our pettiness and our thoughts and opinions on different breweries, but like it does suck when a brewery shuts down.
Yeah.
And so pull the resources from each other.
Yeah.
And like help out, like, hey, do you need yeast or do you need hops? Like I think maybe like even change the rivalry now because of the hard times. Like maybe 5 years ago we can all like be like whatever. But now I think we really need to change that sense of community. We need to
Yeah, I mean, we talk about that a lot. Since we started the podcast, is we've made friends through what we call the beer community. I mean, there's some guys in Louisville who we became friends with through the beer community. They came down last year to Nashville, and we hung out, and then they came back up. They came up to Cincinnati for a couple of days, and we were hanging out and joined us on brewery tours and stuff like that. So I agree. I see where you're going there with that.
Yeah. Nice.
John, back to your original, maybe early on what you said, and I had to look up, a rising tide lifts all boats.
There we go. Go. Yeah, rising tide lifts all boats. Yeah. At the end of the day, like we have 80 plus breweries in this city, and our doors are open to them if they need anything. And we just hope that's reciprocated because, life's not easy. Life is tough. And, at the end of the day, we're just here to make a liquid that helps make it a little bit easier.
Something we all enjoy. We certainly do.
Yep.
Definitely.
Well, Steve, take us home, buddy.
Well, hey, I got a couple of quick questions, and then
Yeah.
we'll wrap it up. And one of the first questions is any talk about you guys expanding any other locations, anything like that in the future that you can talk about that you've heard about? Not rumors and gossip, but
I'd never say never, but we don't have any plans currently right now. Just kind of the environment right now in terms of where
Sure.
the industry is. We're just kind of trying to perfect our craft.
Yeah.
And we're trying to focus on our community that we're currently in and make sure that we're servicing them the best that we can. Like I said, though, never say never. Hopefully, like we pop off and, we're the size of Madry or Rheingeist and we're able to go build another spot. But for right now, we're just homebodies.
Yeah,
we're just hanging out.
Yeah, we're just hanging out. I think there's still a lot of love that needs to be done here.
Yeah.
The food.
Well,
and
it's a great location, no doubt. And we'll wrap it up with just asking this. So for people, listening to this podcast, wherever they're listening to it, and we've talked about you guys have some of your beer in can. I know you can pick it up there, but what's your reach as far as like where they can also pick up, your cans? Is it just in the Cincinnati area right now?
So yeah, currently right now we're just in the Cincinnati area and a little bit in northern Kentucky, just kind of like reading the room and understanding where the market is going. We kind of pulled back a little bit, but yeah, you can get it a bunch of different places here in the city. And occasionally we do send stuff up to Dayton to Barrel House.
I think it's called Brewer.
Barrel House, great people up there as well. Yeah, but mostly just here in the city.
Yeah.
We're very local, and then that's kind of how we like it right now.
Well, cool. Well, we'll just we'll give a shout out to you guys and tell anybody that's listening to this podcast, get the Esoteric. Get the Esoteric Brewing.
Yeah.
The place is awesome. The space is awesome. The people are great. The beer is tremendous. So we appreciate it.
Thank
You can buy it online. I'm sure this is in the local area. Also, we'll hold off on starting a Bring Esoteric to Tennessee page for a while.
If you find a spot, just let me know.
I mean, we can work it.
We can work it out.
You can make the beer. We can drink it.
I love Nashville.
Yeah, man. Good.
Yeah,
Well, you guys ever come down again, you look us up, man.
Look us up and bring some beer, will you?
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, for sure. Maybe a Bengals game.
Well, there you go. There you go.
Yeah, they're down here frequently.
All right. Well, that's John and that's Anique from Esoteric Brewing, guys. We appreciate it on the Brewery Underground podcast.
Awesome.
Thanks so much for being on with us. This was a fun time. Enjoyed meeting you in person. This was exceptional as well. Can't wait to talk to you again.
Thanks for having us on, guys. We really appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
I'm glad you liked it.
Cheers.
Cheers.